How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, and today we're talking about Jade's Dodging Shadows. I'm sure plenty of you know about this move already, whether you love it or hate it. It is very strong in this game. However, just in case you don't play this game, this ability allows Jade to become immune to projectiles for a short period of time. Or at least that's how it's supposed to function, and for the most part it does its job fairly well. It's immune to the horizontal projectile and the ground eruptions as well. However, as you're about to see, this move is very inconsistent because it is not immune to certain projectiles like corpse drop, and I think that's because the game considers these moves something different. For anybody who doesn't know, I actually do teach coding and programming for video games and website design, all that stuff. And due to that background, I know that every property in a video game has a literal tag, and for whatever reason, this move is tagged as a projectile, and so is this move, but that's not the case for corpse drop. It is tagged as something else. And I do believe that's why some projectiles can hit Jade out of this move, whereas others miss completely like they're intended to. For whatever reason, NetherRealm tags certain moves to be different attacks than projectiles, even though by our definition, this would definitely be a projectile, but according to the game, it is not. However, no matter what the reason, today's video is all about testing what does and does not work on Jade's Dodging Shadows, because this move might be one of the most inconsistent attacks that NetherRealm has ever made. Alright, so first up we have some strings like a death trap. As you can see, that's definitely a series of projectile attacks, but once again, Jade's not immune to it for whatever reason. You and I would definitely consider these follow-ups to be projectiles, but according to the game, it's not. But how about Burning Vigor? Can it dodge this? No, it looks like it will never dodge projectiles that come out during attack strings. They have to be special moves. Alright, but next up we have Devora, because a commenter told me about a very unique exchange between her and Jade, because in a previous video I discussed how Shang Tsung can actually parry her deadly swarm bug recall. And I find that fascinating because this does not seem like a projectile attack to me. I don't know about y'all, because all it does is pull the bugs off the opponent and do damage on the way out. However, according to a viewer, this will not actually work on Jade if she enters purple, so I'm wondering, do the bugs still come back and just deal no damage, or does the attack get disabled altogether? I'm curious. Alright, so here we go. I'm currently playing as Jade. I'm gonna go purple, and what happens when she calls back the bugs? Nothing, no damage whatsoever. She still spent the bar, and she still wasted the move, but I took no damage whatsoever. That is fascinating, because what we have here is actually the opposite of the Shang Tsung situation. Despite these moves not seeming like projectiles, the game does tag them as such, and as a result, Jade's Dodging Shadows makes me completely immune to the bug recall. However, oddly enough, I'm not immune to the bug blast, which once again, you and I would consider a projectile, but I'm not immune to that, which already doesn't make sense, but even more confusing still, I'm immune to an attack that doesn't even qualify as a projectile to most people. As you can see, I was not joking when I said this move is super inconsistent. Alright, but next up we have SubZero, and once again, it's due to a recommendation in the comments. Apparently, SubZero's creeping ice qualifies as a projectile, and Jade is completely immune to it while using Dodging Shadows. But of course, I'm not just gonna take his word for it, because on this channel we are scientists. But look at that, it's true, it misses completely. How about the follow-ups? Do those miss as well? Those are definitely more like projectiles. Wow, look at that, that is crazy. Because I personally always thought that SubZero had the advantage against Jade because his slide went under her nitro kick, but check this out, one of his best moves on block is nullified whenever she's purple. That's just crazy. And now it has me wondering what other SubZero projectiles might not work on Dodging Shadows. Okay, how about Frigid Storm? Will this go through her? Yes, it does. I was wondering if his hands might hit her because he is pushing forward, but nope, there is no hitbox on his hands. It is just a projectile. Okay, but how about Deathsickle Barrage? Will this miss? Yes, it misses completely. Wow, she beats pretty much everything SubZero does, huh? Alright, but how about Arctic Trap? There is no way that Jade can go purple and just walk right through this thing. Oh my god, are you kidding me? She can? I wouldn't even consider this thing a projectile. If anything, it's a bomb or a landmine, and she can still walk right through this thing? That's insane. Oh my god, I have a completely new understanding of this matchup because I really did think it was in SubZero's favor, but now it seems like Jade can go purple and just bully SubZero all day long. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel bad for the guy, or at least I would if not for the constant 50-50s that are very hard to fuzzy guard online. Okay, but now we have what is possibly the most interesting part of this video, because RoboCop is all about projectiles in this game, including on his normal attacks. His down 4, he uses a gun. His back 4, he uses a gun. Both of which are universal attacks that every character has. They can sweep and they can down 4, but for RoboCop, he does use his gun, so I'm wondering, does the game consider these projectiles, yes or no? Alright, it's time to find out. Down 4. It works completely, so despite the animation, the game does not consider this a projectile. How about the sweep? Nope, that works as well, so it seems like if a normal attack uses a weapon of any kind that would normally be a projectile, the game does not care. Just like we saw with Shang Tsung's attack strings, any projectiles done with normal attacks are immune to Jade's dodging shadows. Okay, but how about trick shot? This move is actually banned at tournaments, and look at that, it misses completely. So even though it is broken and banned at competitive play, it still misses dodging shadows. Alright, but how about the flamethrower? Does this count as a projectile? Yes, it does. That is ridiculous. Fire's not a projectile, is it? Come on, how is she dodging a flamethrower? Once again, dodging shadows is super inconsistent and very confusing. My goodness, you never know until you test in training mode what works and what doesn't work. Alright, but now we have one that I know works, and that's core discharge. So once again, you would think this move qualifies as a projectile, but nope, according to the game, it is something different. In my head, I was calling these bombs. So the corpse drop from Shang Tsung, that was a bomb. The core discharge, that's a bomb or maybe a mine. And that's why I thought for sure that SubZero's Arctic Trap would work against Jade, but apparently not. She can walk right through that thing, but she cannot move through core discharge. Why is that? It's so confusing. How about microburst? Does this qualify as a projectile? No, it does not, but what about the meter burn? I gotta try and see if that hits. Yes, it still hits, so apparently that's not a projectile. What's the difference? What's the difference between this and then the ice auger? Does that at least go through? Yeah, that goes through, but that's what I expected. I also read online that Shadow Dive beats it. No, it doesn't. That counts as a projectile as well. That makes sense. I wonder why somebody online lied to me. How about the tackle? That misses too. So it seems like everything misses against Jade that Noob Saibot has to offer. And next up, we have a character that I believe counters Jade very hard in Mortal Kombat 11, and that's Scarlet, because a lot of her moves just completely ignore Jade's dodging shadows. So for example, we have Blood Tentacle. This beat Jade's dodging shadows even back in the earliest beta for Mortal Kombat 11 that Jade was playable. This move always worked against her dodging shadows. And once again, I could not tell you why the game does not consider this a projectile. I think this one's the most reasonable though, because it does kind of teleport to its location and not travel across the screen. And the same could also be said for Boiling Point. This move does not travel like a projectile, but even so, it's pretty similar to attacks we've seen so far, but for whatever reason, Jade is not immune to it. However, I think Jade is immune to everything else that Scarlet has to offer, like her Blood Ball, that misses completely. How about the Bloodshot? That misses. Blood Trail, does that miss? Yes. How about Blood Spatter? Nah, but I didn't expect that one to lose to dodging shadows anyway. It's clearly not a projectile. Anyway, the main point is, if Jade is frustrating you and you want a character that can counter her pretty hard, I recommend Scarlet because she has some moves that are really good for beating dodging shadows. But next up, we have something interesting, because Scatter Souls, just like Scarlet Splatter, does actually hit Jade, but oddly enough, the Amplify does not. And if you don't believe me, seeing is believing. It passes right through Jade. So regular Scatter Souls is not a projectile, but the amplified option is, and therefore it misses. Once again, I have no idea the difference between that projectile and this projectile. They look pretty much identical to me, but one is an attack string and therefore it is exempt from the rule, whereas this one is not. The game sees it as a projectile. I don't know, I just find it funny how the default version of this move is not a projectile, but then the amplified version is considered one. Once again, as a programmer, little things like that fascinate me. Alright, but just one more character. I want to test out Rambo because he has so many traps. Okay, so Mace Trap definitely can't be beat by purple. How about the Claymore? Is she immune to the Claymore? No, she's not. Why does the Claymore work? I don't understand. How is that not the same as SubZero's Arctic Trap? What is the difference, NetherRealm? What are the tags for these moves? Alright, but how about Snare Trap? Does that work? Oh my god, it doesn't? How is this not considered a physical attack? Why is this a projectile? It's not a projectile. It doesn't fly in a single piece across the screen. It's more like a floor hazard. How is this not the same as the Claymore? I don't understand the difference. Okay, how about Whip Trap? What is this? Apparently also a projectile. Don't ask me how this move qualifies as a projectile, especially when you can aim it. What is the difference between this move and Scarlet's Tentacle? In my eyes, they're the exact same move, but for some reason hers works and Rambo's does not, but they're the exact same kind of move. Alright everyone, that's about all I have time for today. This move is testing my patience, but let me know in the comment section down below about any other strange interactions with Jade's dodging shadows. As you can see, it is by far one of the most confusing moves that NetherRealm has ever made because it's just so darn inconsistent. But if you enjoyed my video and you want to see more, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any future videos. Keep that combo going, make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.